The Dallas Cowboys defensive backfield is a nightmare. Anytime you give up 500 yards to a Russell Wilson-led offense in the year of our Lord 2025, you're not in a good spot. But after that Giants game, we might have gotten some good news. Jerry Jones said on 105.3 The Fan, third-round rookie Shavon Revel's return to the field is lining up with his NFI designation, meaning that he would be back after the Cowboys' Week 4 game against the Packers. I'm really excited. I had an early second-round grade on him. I thought that Dallas got great value in the third round because he was coming back from that ACL, so he falls to you in round 3. I thought he was an early second-round corner, really good value for them, and good timing for the Cowboys, because I think us Cowboys fans and the other 31 teams around the league have figured out that you can pass on this Dallas secondary. After I watched the All-22, watching some of these defensive backs cover down the field, guys out of position, looking like they're lost in zone coverage, it was bad. And I have my own gripes with Matt Eberflus, but it really just came down to guys not playing well and guys needing to play better. Be more sound, have way more awareness in guys running vertically through their zone and getting somehow behind them. Watching that All-22 against the Giants was insane when you look at how many busted coverages that they had. So getting a guy like Revel back on the field who has long arms, is quick to trigger downhill, has good eyes, he has the traits to be a good zone cover corner, and those long arms make it tough throwing to his side of the field because he can cover so much ground and clog up those passing lanes. Something that I wrote down when I was watching him, and something I've said about Diggs and Bland this year, I think Revel is a better man cover corner because of the size, the strength, how he can flip his hips and run. But we know how Eberflus has been this year. He rarely runs man defense. He wants to play zone. He's going to have 2 high safeties. He's going to run variations of cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, try to take away the big plays. Maybe that changes over the course of the year, but for now, we got to look at him as a zone corner. And I do think he would help. I mean, what wouldn't help at this point with how the DBs are playing? Make it to where you don't have to play Elam a majority of the snaps on the outside, and then maybe you get Deron Bland back about the same time. It could definitely help getting a player of Revel's caliber into the lineup. I just think the biggest question is, if he comes off of the NFI list and is active and dressed for game days in Week 5, how soon should we expect to see him really get significant snaps? Because he's coming off an ACL. What is the Cowboys' plan from there? When they made this pick, we said it was a long-term plan. This is not a veteran player on a 1-year deal that the Cowboys are going to be trying to rush back so they can just plug holes in a very leaky ship and then just figure it out next year. Like, this is a long-term player. This is a guy you want to be the future at corner. A guy that you feel like you got lucky on, that he was there in the third round because of the injury. That injury is going to factor into how they approach this. And I think it's really a battle, and you got to balance it between he could help us win now because our secondary is so bad, and we don't want to throw him out there and either kill his confidence or get him hurt again. And that's a tough balance to find. If I was with the front office or on the coaching staff, I would be trying anything and everything to figure out how to fix this defense. And this is easily your best in-house answer. If the Cowboys are dead set on not going out and trading for a corner, Revel is the best choice by far, other than obviously getting Bland back. So let's say that Jerry is right. He's going to be back in Week 5. He's coming off the NFI. He's active for that game. This is my best guess for what happens this year. He's probably going to be on a pitch count. You get him in the game in certain situations. You see how he's moving, how he's doing with understanding his responsibilities. And if he holds up well, then you consider giving him more snaps and then maybe moving guys around to get your best 3 corners out on the field. My dream when the Cowboys drafted him was Diggs on the outside, who just needs to play better this year, along with Revel on the other side, and then Bland in the slot. I think it's still possible, but I also think we're going to really have to give it some time, at least a couple more weeks and into the back half of the season before we start saying like, oh, Revel can start. He's this level of player. Like, we know what we saw in college. We know what we saw at ECU. But when I was putting together his scouting report, this is a guy that doesn't have a ton of college tape. He didn't play a ton of snaps over his 3 years. And then you consider no training camp, no practices up to this point. Even someone that is the ultimate optimist for everything that the Cowboys do and who the Cowboys draft, it still makes me nervous. Is he going to look lost? Is he going to know what he's doing? How does he hold up against NFL-level wide receivers? Because no offense to ECU, I knew plenty of people that went there, being from North Carolina and all, but they're not a powerhouse program. He's not playing in the SEC. Those wide receivers, the level is miles different when you get to the league. So I think that's where the pitch count comes in. You see how he handles that, small sample sizes, and then you adjust from there, and if he's better than what you already have, and then you're talking about getting your 3 best guys on the field. So best case scenario, back half of the year, I believe, even coming back in week 5, that he's able to come along, more removed from that injury. He starts looking like his ECU self. He plays well, and he's one of your best 3 corners, because I'm really excited for what he can do in 2025, and maybe it's because I'm just excited about the unknown. I know what this Cowboys defense is right now, but I don't know what kind of difference Revel makes. I watched 3 games of his ECU tape. I like the player, like the frame, the speed. From what we've heard, he's a really hardworking guy. He's a competitor. All of those things are great. But what does it look like on an NFL field, and does it help the Cowboys win in 2025? And that's going to bring us into the realistic part of this video, right? I like being an optimist. Like, I want Revel to be a Hall of Famer. I want him to be a Pro Bowler. I want him to come in week 5 and dominate, and the Cowboys don't give up 500 yards to Russell Wilson. But people are going to have to understand, especially when he starts getting snaps, that it's not going to be perfect. He is just one piece of a defense that I think has a lot of issues. He's a rookie 3rd-round pick that's coming off an ACL injury, that missed training camp, that missed the preseason, and expectations that he's going to save the defense and they're going to magically get better on the back end is probably a little crazy. I think you're going to have to live with some pretty frustrating mistakes early on, but the hope is that the more reps that he gets, the more caught up he is, that you end up getting a better player than what you would have had with Elam or Bridges or somebody like that. And I don't even care that he makes mistakes. There's almost a 100% chance that he's going to. That is not worst case scenario. If he is out there on the field, he's making plays, splash plays here and there, but he's getting beat here and there as well, I think you can live with that. That's not worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is that he just doesn't really play in 2025. That's my number one concern, because this was a long-term pick, right? You still need to know what you have and give him an opportunity to develop while you figure it out. Let's just say that he's not playing good enough in practice. The coaches don't trust him. I think that's worse than anything. I mean, if he's not getting snaps with this group and he's fully healthy, there's a problem, especially if we start getting into the back half of the year and the defense keeps looking like it does right now. Like, he should be getting reps over Elam and Bridges and other guys. I just want the Cowboys to look at this from a developmental standpoint. You want to see what you have in him, give him a chance before you go into the next offseason and assume that he's just like not the answer, or assume that he is the answer and you don't go out and find a cornerback to pair with Deron Bland. It would just be nice to see this guy play. He hasn't had a lot of reps from high school to the NFL. He needs to be out there on the football field playing football. Let him develop. Let him get reps. The defense is already not very good, and it's hard to imagine that Revel doesn't get better by playing more football. He's uber talented. There's some things he needs to work on as far as understanding route combinations and where he's supposed to be in his zone and having a better feel for where the quarterback's going with the ball. But just overall physically, if you can get the eyes and the mind dialed in, you might have one heck of a football player, right? I say live with the mistakes and just hope that he makes your football team better in 2025 and then even better in 2026 in 2027 and beyond. So that's all I got for you guys today. I wanted to talk about Shavon Revel. It seems like we got good news about him. Maybe he'll be back before week 6, week 7. Maybe he helps your defense now, but I think it's going to be an interesting thing to juggle between him being the long-term plan or having a developmental thing with him, but also really needing help in your defensive back room for 2025. So you guys let me know down below in the comments. What do you think? Please make sure you subscribe to this new channel, The Landry Hat, brought to you by Fansided. Cowboys content, podcast, shorts, everything is going to be uploaded here on the channel. My name's Zach. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you next time.